far as medical is concerned, um, my daughter has a problem with the stones where sometimes it dislodges, it makes her choke, it makes her cough. And this intern came. It's like the doctor was supposed to come, and I guess the intern they need to see a certain amount of patients, and she's over there like second guessing everything that my daughter's doctor ENT was saying. Oh, she's just a PA. It's like, you're trying to say that you're better than her. You're an intern. I'm thinking to myself, she was just getting on me and my daughter's last nerve. And I've been going back and forth to them for these issues with my daughter for months, since December, January, February, March. I'm tired. Let's just get rid of the tonsils. And they were saying the sooner you do it, the better, because the older you get, the worse it is. Oh, she's just a PA. Who else saw these tonsils? Did she have someone come in and see them? And me and my daughter were like, you need witnesses? I saw them. I'm the witness. And she's like, I think you should do a swallow study where they take pictures of your throat as you're swallowing to see why this is happening. And we're like, look, we're just here to get these tonsils out. That's what this appointment is for, is to see the surgeon to get the tonsils out. So an hour later, the doctor walks in. I was getting this because his intro was getting on my nerves, and then the doctor saying, she walks up to us, starts saying something to her. I said, I hate when they do this. I hate when a nurse tries to tag team you with another nurse, or let me put it this way: they don't tag team you. They influence the other nurse so that when that other nurse or doctor walks in, they already have a predisposed opinion. And I don't like that. So now she starts in the doctor. She's like, maybe you should do the swallow study. Maybe you shouldn't take out your tonsils. It doesn't matter if you're 36 or 26. It's going to be the same. And blah, blah, blah. She should have just looked at my daughter's throat. She shoved a stick down her throat. She didn't even do the camera. She shoved a stick down her throat. My daughter's like gagging. And that's my daughter's problem. She gags and then she starts coughing her brains out and vomiting sometimes when she eats. And she asked her a couple of questions like, does it feel like you're sick? But it turns out you're not. She said, exactly. Does your throat hurt you sometimes? Yes. Oh, well, again, if this coughing is you should still do the swallow study. But we'll go ahead and schedule you for the, tonsillectomy. And so always we got to find a time that's good for both of us, because I'm still driving my son to school. I have to stay with her for a good 24 hours after the surgery. And someone's going to need to take care. She's going to be like, they're going to give her heavy painkillers, and someone's got to take care of her. So it had to be when my son finished school, so we finally got all of that straightened out. But, I'm not even telling you everything this intern was saying and doing. She just got on my last nerve, and on my daughter, too. My daughter was getting frustrated. I'm like, I think next time they ask me if I want to see an intern, I'm going to say no. And then when I went to my appointment, I'm just really frustrated. So it turns out that my doctor's a nurse practitioner. Really, she refers to my husband's doctor. We're in the same, place. And she's really nice. But they're always up my butt about my high blood pressure. And they're constantly telling me, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die. And they've been telling me this for 5 years now. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you. I take pills, they make me sick, and they don't work. They just don't bring down. They bring it down a little bit. But, they want to see like 130 over 50, If they see like 150 over 80, they still get nervous. And in that, I'm still like, 200 over 110, it might go down to 180 over 90. And so they're still on my butt. And they gave me this pill. And I had not slept well already, so I was already tired. It was a really gloomy day. And they gave me this pill. And by the end of our I think I was there for maybe 45 minutes. I felt like I needed to sleep. I'm like, I hope I get home okay. And it's the pressure. It's the same thing with the nutritionist. They said, you have to see a cardiologist like immediately. And I'm like, okay. They gave me a list of calls for diabetes. When I did the fasting blood work. Now she's still telling me that my blood sugars are kind of high. It was, I think, 145, and they want to see it below 150. And that blood number was like, it went from 7.1 to 7.2, They want to see it be 7 and below. I told her I tried the metformin and I had a lot of pain in my liver, so I couldn't do that. So, but she's like, well, we need to get this blood pressure under control. We need to take you to the cardiologist immediately. And they gave me a list of people to call. And what happens, again, like the nutritionist, I start to feel overwhelmed and stressed out. And that just, my high blood pressure comes from stress. I told you, if you've been following me, you know I talked to a cardiologist. And I mean, he did this extensive, questionnaire. And he's like, you just have too much stress in your life. That's where your high blood pressure is coming from. So, because I don't need fried foods and stuff like that. So, I try to stay away from salt, except for the ramen. I have that maybe once a day, if I have it, because lately I haven't even been having it. I just don't want it. So, she walks me out and takes me to the front desk to make an appointment immediately. I showed her my calendar. She says, look, I see you have Monday free. I was like, okay, so I'll go Monday as long as it's at 1 o'clock. I can't, because it has to be when my son's in school. I have to drop him off, go, and then come back and then get him. It has to be within the time frame that he's in school for 4 hours. So she takes me to the front, and she's sweet. She's like this sweet, very sweet, nice person. Takes me to the front desk, but the lady's on the phone. So this other receptionist becomes available and says, over here, please. I was like, start walking to her. She says, the nurse says, where you going? Wait, no. Come back here. I was like, so the lady was like, I told her, she called me. Oh, I'm sorry. So she says, make sure she gets an appointment immediately. They have nothing available for a while, for about 2 months. They said that they have 2 other clinics out in Galveston, which is an hour to an hour and a half away. Texas City, which is also about an hour away. So they were trying to make me an appointment. They're telling me go 9 o'clock in the morning. Are you crazy? And on a school day. No, because I'm going to have to be up at like 7 in the morning and make sure I leave by 7:30 to get there by 9. If they don't see me for an hour, I got to get back home by 11 to take my son to school. No. I said, no, it's got to be 1 o'clock if you want to do a Monday or a Wednesday. Other than that, then it was like Tuesday. Well, that's my daughter's surgeon appointment. So, so we try to do it for Thursday. All right, Galveston. All they had available was Galveston. I said, that is too far. And they want me to be there 9 in the morning. So I was like, I said, okay, I'll do Texas City. They said Texas City is not really in Texas City. It's just the exit for Texas City. Okay, that's doable. They just couldn't find anything that's on a day that I can go. Or they wanted to, do it on, again, or they find something that's on the days that I have to take my son to school or my daughter has her appointments. Half an hour, a line behind me before we finally find something doable. And so they had me for, again, the end of next month. Because then again, they want to do it the day after my daughter's surgery. I can't, I have to be with her. So, on the way home, and I said, the other appointments, I'm going to call you. We were there half an hour. They had already made appointments for me for 9 o'clock in the morning for I don't even know where, for other appointments without even consulting with me. And I'm like, she says, you're going to have to call and cancel these. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to postpone them. I can't do that. Line behind me. They were frustrated. I was frustrated. So on my way home, I was falling asleep at the wheel from whatever the pill that they gave me. They gave me something that drops your blood pressure fast. And I told you before, I can't have that. I've never, and the weird thing is, it drops my blood pressure so fast that it affects me, but it still doesn't drop it where it was on 180 over 90. That's not really what they want, Well, it's better than 200 over 110, but it's really not, that's still a high blood pressure. Oh my goodness. It was horrible. I'm like, it was scary. It was scary. At one point, I even started dreaming. That's how bad I was. I didn't stop at the red light, and I kind of went into the intersection, but I stopped myself, like, before I actually went into oncoming traffic or anything. And I'm like, and it was chilly. I'm telling you, because this weather's been crazy. It's been kind of, roll down the windows, let all that cold air in, turn this radio on full blast so that I can get home without killing me and my daughter. I told them, I called them up the next day. I said, this cannot be. I said, you got to tell me what that is. I got to put that on a list. And she's like, yeah, my daughter tried to tell them. She's like, she defends me. She says, she gets all of these side effects. She says, she's trying to tell them. So the nurse was like, I've never heard that before. I said, but that's who I am. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And then I said, oh, and the appointment, you wanted me to get one right away. There was nothing available till the end of next month. Well, I heard they had an appointment for next week, but you refused. And all that does is just aggravates me. It puts pressure on me. And that's the last thing I need right now. And then it got to the point where I don't even want to go to the doctor. I said, you know what? I said, those pills that you keep trying to force feed me are going to kill me before the high blood pressure does. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I said, meanwhile, I'm spending $10, $20 for these pills, and I can't even take them. And I got to keep spending $20, $20, $70 for pills that I can't take. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And it was like, it was not, this is not my nurse practitioner. This was the assistant to my nurse. So I'm like, it's overwhelming, now that I did the fasting blood work, they're saying, well, you know what? Now it's not coming up that you have a problem with your thyroid. I said, look, something is wrong here. I said, there's no I said, I'm going to send gaining 10 pounds a year, but not 30 pounds in 2 months. Something is wrong here. And I'm eating my diabetic diet. So I should not be gaining weight as quickly as I am. And then she just looked at me and said, well, it's got to be your diabetes because it really, really messes with your blood sugars and it holds on to them because you're not taking anything for it. I'm like, so she said, I'm going to go ahead and make an appointment with the thyroid doctor. I showed her pictures of the pus that comes out. It looks like pimples, but sometimes pus and blood comes out of them on my belly. I'm going crazy. It's been over 4 months now. I'm going out of my mind with this infection. And so I have to make an appointment for the thyroid, the cardiologist, for the diabetic doctor, and for the plastic surgeon. But I have to pace it out. I can't do that anymore. I can't go to the doctor every day. First of all, I don't have the money for the copays, and I just don't have I just don't have that multitasking me anymore. I cannot. I was taking my son to school, then I would run to the doctor, then I have to run to pick him up, and then come home to cook. I can't do that anymore. I cannot. So I try to pace everything out, and if I go to the doctor, it's after I drop off my son, or on a day that I don't have to take my daughter to the doctor. It could be Thursday, it could be Friday, I have to pace it out. And they're like, putting all this pressure on me. And she agreed to let me do the thyroid doctor. She said maybe he can help you, but it's just overwhelming. And they're just making all these appointments for me without even telling me. So I got a list of everyone I need to call. And I've just been busy. What happened to me on Monday. So Monday was my appointment. Then Tuesday I had to take my daughter to physical therapy, and that's when the thing happened with the car. Then Wednesday I had to take my son, and then I had to go pick up his pills. And I haven't even. She calls in an antibiotic cream for me. I told her I have an antibiotic cream that starts with an M, and it's not helping me. And what does she prescribe me? That same medication. It starts with an M, and I said I'm pretty sure that's it, and it was. It's like I don't know, they're not listening. I think it's like they have this, like, contracts or something with these companies that they have to give out this medication. And she says antibiotics. I said I took antibiotics for a month and a half. It didn't help, but she still sent in a prescription for antibiotics. It's like, I feel like they're not listening to me. I feel overwhelmed again, just like with the nutritionist. So, it's just been overwhelming. It's been frustrating, but I do feel hopeful. I feel like I'm gonna get the help that I need. I really feel hopeful that I will, but it's just, it's just gotta be paced out properly, so I don't have a nervous breakdown. And it looks like these things are gonna be happening over the summer. So I did not. They supposedly my daughter's not allowed to schedule her surgery for the breast until a month after her tonsil surgery. So I'm probably gonna make sure I'm with her for a week, and then after that, could make a couple of more appointments. So anyway, very frustrating. I have friends that tell me they don't even go to the doctor anymore. They look for holistic ways of doing things. I've been investigating getting a giant pill box because I know like potassium, CoQ10, ginger, you know, those type of things help with blood pressure. So, but I just, my pill box it's pretty big, but I looked into these bigger ones. I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need that. So I'm looking into stuff for high blood pressure, and I gotta find that. And sometimes you can't find stuff you need. I saw there's a medical supply store nearby. I'm thinking of going there and getting the stuff that I need, because she wants me to get an extra large cuff. They don't sell that in the stores. I checked. So just a lot of stuff is overwhelming, and I'm just not taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my kids too. So I really got to pace everything out. So anyway, that's been my life for the past week. I laugh about it now, but I was so shaken up about everything. Very, very frustrating. Anyway, so, you know, next week I'll see you with the last Gothic graphic, and then I'm gonna go into the hot neon colors. Alrighty, love you all. Bye.